Hey folks, welcome back, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot if this is your first visit here, but either way, thank you so much for joining me for our pick a card reading today. Now today's topic is a good old-fashioned, let's kind of see what comes through type of reading, but specifically we are asking for your spirit guides to bring a message to you that you were guided to hear today. So if you found this reading, it was not random. Something guided you here today, and there is a message waiting for you, ready for right where you are at this moment in time. So take a breath with me, choose the pile that feels right, and let's hear what is meant to support you right now. So without further ado, let us choose our pile leaders to pick our messages with, calling on spirit guides from our collective. Thank you so much for coming forward today for everyone's highest, best good. Help us choose the right piles. Very beautiful. I'm going to pick that one first for pile 1. Here's pile 2, and actually, I'm feeling drawn to that one for pile 3. Let's unveil them together. So, for our wonderful pile number 1 over here on the left, your card today is the card of potential. For pile number 2 here in the middle, your card today is love. And last but not least, for a wonderful pile number 3, your card today is relaxation. All 3 very beautiful cards and themes. So refresher, pile 1. On the left over here, you are potential. Pile 2 in the middle, you are love. And pile 3 on the right, you are relaxation. Though, as I always say, you are perfectly welcome to pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide. But when you are ready, drop down to the description box below. Click on the timestamp for your pile, and I will see you in our chat about the message you were guided to hear today. See you in the reading, everyone. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on a message you were guided to hear. And of course, as you recall, the pile leader you were drawn to most was the card of potential. Now, as we always do with pile leader cards, I like to put them over here to the left next to the candle. And let's begin your reading today with first asking your spirit guides for the tarot spread. That will give us a bit of a glimpse into what's going on, kind of where is this message stemming from in terms of context, as well as where the situation is going and what advice they want you to hear today. So, calling on spirit guides for pile 1 today. Please guide us for their highest, best good. Thank you. What's going on? What do you want to talk to them about? Okay, we already have some that are quite prominent. We'll take these. And let's see. And there is the 5th card. Beautiful. Let's look at those. So first up for tarot today, pile 1, you have the 6 of Pentacles reversed. Okay, and then we have the 10 of Cups. For the heart of the matter, you have the Death card, our first major arcana of the day. 4th card today is the 3 of Wands. And last card today is the Explorer, or as it's known in most decks, the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so I think for a lot of you, this message today is probably most likely related to career or finances or your resources or your job, things like that. And I say that because you do have an abundance of Pentacles cards today. And Pentacles are the earth suit in tarot, and that tends to represent all those categories I just talked about. So, you know, career, finances, resources, security, those things, etc. And yeah, so you have like 6 of Pentacles at the very beginning, you have the Knight of Pentacles at the very end. Now you do have a little bit of energy of water and fire in here because you have the 10 of Cups, which is water, and then you have the 3 of Wands, which is fire. What that tells me is I think there's a situation where for most of you it's probably career related, like I said, or it could be just in general in your life too, if that's not specifically resonating, where there's an unfairness going on. I say that because in the very beginning with the Six of Pentacles reversed, that is the card of a lack of fairness when it's in the reversed position. It's also the card of resources not being distributed equally. It's the card of sometimes greed. It's like a lack of charity type of greed. So I wonder if maybe some of you have been going through a situation where you're not really getting a fair shake, you're not being paid fairly for something, you're not being given what you're supposed to be given, or it could also represent a situation where like a literal charity is involved, pile one, like maybe it's a situation regarding a place that you volunteer for, or that, you know, like your job or career is related to in terms of serving people, like it's a humanitarian type of thing. But that's where the problem comes in, is something related to those areas. Okay. Or in general, it could also be because of the influence of water here with the Ten of Cups right afterwards. That can mean a relationship of some sort, or maybe a relationship at work where there's an unfairness going on. Could be, of course, like with your manager. Could be with like another coworker, that type of thing. Though for most of you, I'm leaning more towards that this is more an unfairness related more so to resources than it is to a relationship. But a relationship, of course, could be involved. And what's interesting is that I think what you're seeking, or what you might be wondering from the universe, when is this going to change? I say that because you have the Death card as the heart of the matter, I call it. It's kind of the overall theme that this message hinges on. It's the underlying factor. And death does represent change in tarot. So that, or it could also be that your spirit guides are giving you a bit of a nudge towards, hey, we see this situation going on that's not serving you anymore, that hasn't been fair to you. And now we want to tell you, yes, this is going to change. That's another way that you could interpret that Death card, pile one. Before we go on, though, to your Three of Wands and your Knight of Pentacles, I want to start drawing your oracle cards just to kind of get like the overall full picture before because sometimes I say things and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Then I have to go back because the oracle cards have added more context. So let's do that as I talk more, but that is at least like kind of the first context glimpse of what I see going on in regards to like what are your spirit guides trying to talk to you about. So, spirit guides of pile one, anything else you want to say in totality with these other cards? Thank you for the situation. I think another factor, pile one, is that with the potential card as the card that you were drawn to, you know, it might be that maybe your full potential isn't really being utilized here at this particular job or at this particular, you know, place that you're volunteering, etc. However this particular reading resonates with you. It could be that maybe... It's part of it really is that you have the potential for more income, or you have the potential and the skills to have been paid more, but it's like they're not recognizing that potential. Or the unfairness could literally be, instead of actual tangible money, it could be that they're not giving you an opportunity to shine more at this particular job or in this career volunteering thing, etc. So that can be another way that might manifest for you. So, I mean, overall, if you're feeling like any sense of self-worth being affected by that Six of Pentacles reversed energy, like say if you think, well, if I was worth more, they would pay me more, or they'd be more fair to me if I like, or like they give me more if I was worth more. Basically, this is what your spirit guides are saying, is to kind of throw that self-deprecation out the window, to throw that lack of self-worth out the window, because you were drawn to the potential card, pile one. What that tells me is that you do have the potential that you might think that you don't. Or, you know, some of you, it might even be a situation where you're thinking about going to... All right, we already have a card that just popped out. You're thinking about going to like another job, or like maybe signing up for a promotion, or like volunteering for it, or I guess interviewing, whatever word you might use. It just depends on the situation. But and then, you know, so you think, well, I really shouldn't go for that because I don't believe in my potential. Same thing. Your spirit guides are saying, please believe in your potential, pile one. And then this card they just flipped out on its own. We have the card of mystical. Mystical. I will draw actually an extra tarot card on that as well, because that's one of those oracle cards that can mean a lot of different things based on... Well, okay, that card just popped out too. Apparently they really want to say this message. Both of these cards just came flying, so we'll take it. Thank you, spirit guides. The Emperor reverse, the tall poppy. Got you. Okay, we'll talk about that more in a second. And then let's flip over this card too. Actually, we have The Champion, with achievement and downfall as the keywords and the element of air. Yeah, something to do with your achievements, something to do with feeling like either you're not good enough, or maybe you had kind of a feeling of downfall in some way, or the situation involves someone's downfall, perhaps. Maybe the unfairness to you was you were told something that, like, chastised for something, or like, oh, you weren't good enough, etc. Maybe that's kind of what's been knocking your confidence, and so your spirit guides kind of want to balm maybe that feeling as well. Okay, that one for sure is just like, pick me, we'll take it. We have, empowerment. Yeah, you need to believe in yourself more, pile 1. Apologies, it's a bit of a broken record message with your message today, but I always say what comes through. So looks like, especially too with that Emperor reverse, because I told you I would talk to you about that later here after everything was drawn. Yeah, you're not standing up for yourself enough. Your spirit guides are saying you're not, and I don't know why you feel so disempowered. I don't know why. I think maybe because other people have said things to you, especially because of that influence of the Ten of Cups being like a relationship-oriented card. So if any of you are doubting yourselves in this situation, your spirit guides are saying not to. Okay, you've done the work and you've had the skills to believe that you have merit and you have worth in this situation. Okay, that's one really prominent theme coming forward, especially because of empowerment just popped through. I was like, well, yep, that makes sense. And actually, pile 1, I wonder if some of you also had a relationship change going on regarding this. Like, maybe someone was in your corner before, but then it's like, then they weren't, and you're like, well, what caused that change? Like, maybe a supervisor was in your corner, and then afterwards, all of a sudden, they'd flipped the script, and you were like, well, wait a minute, I'm kind of reeling here. Why is this supervisor not behind me, or not endorsing me anymore, or supporting me anymore, helping me like they're supposed to, or, yeah, something with, especially because of Ten of Cups is like, as I said, relationship-related card, and then the Death card is like a card of change. It's like, okay, something that was a happy relationship here with the Ten of Cups being especially upright. It's a happily ever after with a relationship card. And then Death coming right afterwards is like, okay, all of a sudden, things kind of shifted, and now you're feeling a bit mystified. And it might also be another interpretation of the mystical card. It's like something that kind of just came out of the blue. It was like mystical. You're like, and not in like the positive connotation way. It wasn't enchanting. It was like mystical in the, well, that's kind of mysterious what happened here. And also too, because of the Emperor reversed card, that makes me think that a lot of you, it might be related to a supervisor or a manager, because the Emperor is a card of authority. It's a card of someone that has control, but oftentimes when it's reversed, technically that tends to mean someone that doesn't have good authority, or someone that's kind of like they don't have control over a situation. So it might not even necessarily be like a malicious supervisor situation. It's just maybe this supervisor really isn't, or manager isn't the best at their job. And so it's like, maybe they kind of keep waffling on things. They kind of, I don't know. Or it could also be that maybe they're really just more self-focused. They're not really a manager in the way of trying to support everyone around them. It's maybe more they just kind of get through the day, and they don't really have a passion for supporting their employees, which is unfortunate, but that does happen a lot in the business world. So another message really coming through here, pile 1, is that you need to kind of empower yourself, not so much relying on this outside source to support you. Not that, I don't think that you were overly relying on them before, but I think this vacuum here, in whatever authority figure seems to have kind of failed you, is really an opportunity for you to step up into your own power. One leader falls, and then a leader always kind of takes their place. So I think that might be, some of you, it might even be that literally like they're retiring or getting let go, and then that might be an opportunity for you to kind of step into that supervisor's position or manager's position. That could be also an interpretation of, say like the downfall card plus all of these other like leadership and empowerment cards. And especially because, we didn't even talk about your future cards. With tarot, we have the Three of Wands, and then we have the Knight or the Explorer of Pentacles. And what that tells me is that after this change occurs, or the change that you're wanting to occur happens, there are plans in the making now that will be acted upon that you don't maybe necessarily see yet. I say that because in the near future position you have the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands, pile one, is often a card of Two of Wands is like, oh, okay, we need to start making the plans. Three of Wands is now I'm going to take action on those plans. Okay, so there's things that have already been kind of going on in the background here that you haven't necessarily been seeing, and then in the near future, after the change occurs, after death, the Three of Wands is like, okay, we're good to go. Let's get the ship sailing now that we've already charted the course. So I would also expect in this, whatever environment this might be for you, say, workplace, volunteer place, etc., those context related things I mentioned earlier, expect change to come soon. Expect things to churn a little bit, not so much chaotically because it's already been planned out, which is a great thing, but you might have already, some of you might have already been kind of slotted to take over this person's position of authority, and you just don't know it yet. So that's another thing, is that your spirit guides might be kind of wanting to give you a bit of a heads up, like, hey, this thing might be kind of coming your way. And then in the end, with the Knight of Pentacles as the outcome, a Knight of Pentacles, my friends, is a card of taking action in terms of money, resources, career, and finances, bringing up that earth energy of the Pentacle suit again. So yeah, it's going to be kind of full speed ahead on something. You're going to be able to take progress in your career or in this job resource situation. For those of you that maybe the unfairness we talked about before with the Six of Pentacles reversed, like you not being paid fairly for something, I will say that outcome here, especially with death as kind of the hinging card, tells me that situation will change with the unfairness. And then, things will go forward the way that you planned them, like you want them to go. And then the Knight of Pentacles is another really good sign for you that action and momentum and movement will be taken regarding getting paid fairly, or being, like, I'm trying to think of the other examples. You know what I mean, though? Like, momentum will be made within the areas of career, finances, and resources, etc. So let me see if there's anything else here for you today, pile one. Oh, and also when the time comes, if you are offered a position of authority, I will never say in a tarot reading that you can't say no to something, and your spirit guides will never tell you that either. They'll never be like, you can't do that. Because you have free will. But what I will say this for you is, I think you would be better suited to the role than you think you are. That's why this empowerment message came up earlier, and why they said you need to believe in yourself, right? Is because you have the capability to lead in a way that, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. They're saying, this is really odd. They're saying you really know how to make lemonade out of lemons. You know how to turn dark clouds into silver linings. You know how to make the best of bad situations. They're saying that specifically is why you would be really good for this role. And I'm trying to think of, mundane examples that would kind of, it's like you have the ability to turn things around. It's like you steering the ship around that they're showing me today for you. So I don't know, for those of you especially that are resonating with like a supervisor or manager that hasn't been, the bee's knees, hasn't been the best supervisor and manager, I don't know if they've been kind of running like the department or whatever area they control into the ground. And it's like, by you stepping up, you'd be able to turn those lemons into lemonade and make things operational and even successful again. Okay, you have that capability. You have that potential, speaking of your pile leader. So they want you to feel empowered. And two, if things have been kind of weird at this workplace or environment, because I'm drawn back to that mystical card, as in, saying something that's kind of mysterious. I think it's because there's those plans in the background that you're not necessarily seeing yet, that you'll soon see the change and the action taken on those plans with that Three of Wands energy. It's like you'll soon be like, oh, that's why that stuff was going on. Now it clicks, because these things are being planned in the background that are now in the foreground, and I get it. I get it now, yeah. So, I don't know. Things are occurring that you're not necessarily expecting, but I will tell you, pile 1, they're good changes. They aren't bad. There's nothing bad here. These are great cards to get, especially, death means change towards action being taken regarding something in career and finances and money and stuff like that. So, good changes. Feel empowered. Don't be afraid to believe in your potential. Don't be afraid to embrace change. That's another really important message today. And you have free will, but if you are offered something soon regarding a leadership or authority position, they're saying it might be a really good idea for you to take it. You have free will, but you can say no. Your spirit guides, however, are kind of giving that little nudge. They're like, well, you might want to go for it, or at least consider it. Okay, so beautiful message for today, my wonderful pile number 1. As I always say, I hope that it helped you, that it resonated, and that you liked it. If so, the old YouTube spiel, but gotta say it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Any one of those 3 things, if not all 3, does help the channel a lot, and continuing my mission of empowering others, providing clarity and spiritual healing, etc., all that good stuff. So if you do, thank you so much. And as we say in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about the message you were guided to hear at this moment. And of course, as you recall, your pile leader you were drawn to was the card of love. So, as we always do with pile leaders, let's slide that one over here next to the candle, and we're going to begin your reading today with your tarot spread. So calling on spirit guides for our wonderful pile 2 today. Oopsie. We're going to shuffle that again. Other than my butter hands shuffling, let's see. 1, 2, 3. There we go, better. Okay, spirit guides, we're ready. Thank you. For your highest, best good, what do you want to talk to them about today? Beautiful. I don't know. Some days I'm pretty good at shuffling. Other days, I don't know. That's okay. And let's unveil your tarot cards. So right up to bat, pile 2, we have the Tower card reversed. Quite a dramatic card to get for your first one, but the good news is it's reversed. Usually, it's better to get the Tower reversed than it is to get it upright. Second card is we have the 6 of Cups. All right. Third card, Heart of the Matter, is the High Priestess. Look at all these major arcanas. Fourth card today is the 4 of Swords reversed. Something becoming more active, waking up, and then, ooh, beautiful, the 9 of Pentacles as your final card. Well, let's see here today. In terms of elemental distribution, we have the 6 of Cups is water, the 4 of Swords is air, and the 9 of Pentacles is earth. Not so much fire energy today. Feels like a little bit more of a reading oriented around perhaps an emotional situation, maybe a little bit with spirituality, especially because of the High Priestess, and then the 9 of Pentacles does sometimes mean that career or resources might be involved. So it's kind of a multifaceted situation that your spirit guides are referring to. I will tell you this, though. In the very beginning, you have the Tower reversed as the inciting incident. I feel like the situation going on in your life, your spirit guides want to talk to you about, is related to some area you're trying to avoid disaster in, because that's what the Tower reversed means, is the tower hasn't fallen, but things might seem kind of shaky, and we're really hoping it doesn't, or we're doing absolutely everything we can to make sure something doesn't fall apart. So when you're listening to this reading, just think of a situation in your life lately where it feels like you've been trying to avoid disaster. That's kind of the context they're giving for us today. And additionally, with the extra detail of the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is all about the past, pile 2, and nostalgia. Oftentimes it can refer to our relationships with our family because it is a relationship card related to the past, aka the people, we were born around. So I think for a lot of you, might not be every single one of you, but for a lot of you, this disaster you're trying to avoid and navigate very carefully is related to family. All right? Or someone from the very far past. Could be just a very long-term friend. That's another way you could interpret that Six of Cups. Could be, even if it is related to work, it could be maybe you worked there for a very long time, and so relationships are involved that are more long-standing rather than, like they haven't been short-term related things, okay? And so I think what spirit guides want to do for you today is provide you some advice regarding the situation to help you navigate. Maybe making sure the tower doesn't fall, or if it does fall, to give you the best equipment possible to navigate it, to make it less strenuous upon yourself. Okay. I'm not saying necessarily a bad outcome, pile 2, if that's kind of what you're worried about when I mentioned the tower. There is a really good outcome, actually, because of the Nine of Pentacles as the final card. But just know that I think a lot of your reading today will be oriented around advice. So let's also grab your oracle cards. I'll draw these as I talk because I want to get the whole picture before I speak fully. So we have the Diviner, divine timing and evaluation. Yeah, I almost wonder if some of you are trying to figure out when to do something. You're like, what is the best timing for me to navigate this? I wonder if you're like waiting to tell someone something related to your family or like this long-term person and you're afraid of the fallout, like when you do tell them. You're trying to evaluate, you're trying to read the winds. You're like, well, what do I do? When do I tell them? That is also the element of fire there with the Diviner. So we actually do have some fire energy today, but... And then your second oracle deck today. Let's grab that one. Trying to figure out when we gotta do something. I will tell you this, pile 2. I think your best bet is... following your gut, because you do have the High Priestess here as the central card, but that could also mean in general that this is a situation where you've had to navigate just following your gut. As for this particular oracle deck, you received White Light, and White Light is all about protecting ourselves. It's probably a situation too where maybe you've felt like you've had to wait or like really navigate it carefully because you're trying to protect yourself, especially spiritually, because that's what White Light really is protecting ourselves from negative energetic influences. So I will draw an extra tarot card on that one, actually. So let's do that right now, just for extra clarity. Spirit guides, can you tell me more about the White Light card? Thank you. Okay. Seven of Cups, choosing wisely. Talk about that more in a minute. And then your last oracle deck today, Nature's Whispers. Yeah, you've been very deliberate and very careful. So that's another thing I want you to know, and your spirit guides want you to know, is that they're commending you for how carefully you've tried to navigate this situation. It has not been easy. A lot of people probably would have fumbled everything that you're trying to do right now. But you've been very skillful and very prepared in what's been going on. So they wanted you to also just know and commend you for that today. And then we have shift your energy. 19. That could also indicate a situation, part of the advice at least they're giving you, maybe to shift where you're turning your energy towards, instead of focusing on one aspect of the situation because of the disaster mitigation, maybe to focus on a separate area of the situation. And speaking of, actually, I will draw an extra tarot card on that one today too, because I want to know what direction they want you to shift your energy. Let's grab that too. On this one for sure. We've got the Elder or the King of Pentacles. Could denote something with a older male or masculine energy figure that is an earth sign. Older masculine earth sign. Okay. And then let's look at everything in totality here. Yes, so we already talked about the context, mitigating disaster, past. In terms of your advice with this, pile 2, keep being careful That is the number one thing that they want you to know. You, as I said, should commend yourself for how careful you have already been. It has not been easy. You've been doing a great job, and anything that you feel has gone wrong I'm sensing intuitively it was just out of your control, okay? You're doing the absolute best you can with this situation, okay? So please just know that. Keep doing what you're doing with that. Number one focus, though, is they're saying make sure to protect yourself energetically. That's why that white light card came up, and the context or clarity card on that was the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups, my friends, often represents situations where we have to choose carefully. What do we really want out of a situation? Okay. What do we really need out of a situation? What is true? What is reality versus what is not true? What is false? So that almost makes me wonder if part of the situation is that you're being fed a lot of information that's conflicting, which has been making it very difficult for you to protect yourself energetically with what's going on. I almost wonder if the person involved, if it's like a single person, just generally is like a negative energy person. Maybe they're kind of an energy vampire. Maybe they're someone who is just not very I want to say spiritually enlightened, but of course, most people that are not very nice aren't spiritually enlightened, so it's kind of a given, right? But, yeah, they're saying something about with the white light and Seven of Cups. I'm going to tap in 1 second. They're saying to choose to be steady and still and unmoving. So I think what that means is you need to be very firm with your boundaries and your protections, and be very firm about your choices, factoring in the meaning of the Seven of Cups. I think maybe also someone might kind of try to sway you a little bit with your choices. Maybe that's where this person comes in. Maybe there's someone that's trying to, shift you in a different direction that serves them better rather than what serves you best. Okay, so just keep your protection in mind. That is advice piece number 1. Also, things will happen in their own divine timing. If you've been finding any roadblocks or delays with dealing with this whole situation, just know that the reason why is because of divine timing. There's something to your benefit happening that's creating these roadblocks for things to occur in a better sequence in the future, I guess is the best way I can put that. Because divine timing is the timing of the universe. It's the timing of, things happen when they're supposed to happen. Okay, so don't beat yourself up if something has been kind of delayed or you feel like something's been kind of roadblocked. It's not your fault. It's just kind of universal things that are out of your control. Just keep trying, keep reading the signs. And, as I said, number 1, focus protecting yourself with that white light. And then you have the Oracle card of shift your energy. And you had the clarity card of the Elder of Pentacles, or King of Pentacles as it's known in most decks. What that means, pile 2, is, as I said, the Elder or King of Pentacles can represent a person who is older, masculine, earth sign. So that might be the person that is in your family or this long-term friend, coworker, etc. that's been part of the issue that you've been trying to deal with. So they're saying with that card to shift your energy regarding that person, or it could also be, if it's not specifically a person, the King of Pentacles can represent a situation where we need to have mastery and control over something regarding our resources, finances, or our job/career. So that can also mean that shifting your energy in these areas is a good idea as well, if that doesn't resonate with you as a person. And so a lot of you are probably asking now, well, how do I shift my energy? What do I do? And that's where we're getting into the last 3 tarot cards that were part of your main spread. So I'll try to unveil those a little bit. I just want to make sure you can see them. So I apologize if the cards are covered up here, but that's what we do with limited space. All right. So in the near future position, pile 2, you have the 4 of Swords reversed, and then you have the 9 of Pentacles, as I stated earlier. And then the heart of the matter, of course, is the High Priestess. So next piece of advice for you, especially regarding shift your energy. Don't listen so much to sources outside of yourself. Listen more to sources within. That is the key energy of the High Priestess here. That is what everything in the situation is hinging on, in terms of how to navigate this. And the High Priestess is a figure of listening to your intuition wholeheartedly without second guessing it. Okay, so shift your energy from what is everything else around me saying? What is everything that I'm perceiving outside of myself saying, or other people outside of myself? What are they saying? Put that on the back burner for a little bit and ask yourself, what is my intuition? What does my gut tell me? Okay, that'll be your best navigating North Star here to follow to get you through this without that disaster happening, or the worst case scenario, so to speak. Then, as I said, near future position, you have the Four of Swords reversed. That means to become active about something. Shifting your energy from passive to active might benefit you quite a lot in getting towards the goal that you're trying to achieve here with this person, situation, etc. It might have been that the reason why you were hesitating is because of that energy of the diviner of evaluation, right? Of, let's see how things go, right? And that's good in some capacity, as I said. Sometimes things are divine timing, as I said before. But at the same time, I think there's areas of the situation where it might be a good idea to try to become more active with things, okay? Because of that Four of Swords reversed energy. It means, okay, now it's time to kind of wake up. Now it's time to maybe get a ball rolling on something where you can, obviously outside of those divine timing obstacles that I had mentioned. And then in the last card position, you have the Nine of Pentacles upright. What that says to me for you, Pile 2, today is that the path that you're on, because of the actions you have taken thus far, you're on the path towards getting the thing that you have been working towards. Whatever your goal is with this situation, like I said, a lot of you, it's just avoiding a disaster of some sort. You're on your way there. You're on the timeline / path to that, because the Nine of Pentacles represents a situation where we have put a lot of effort into something, and now we're actually extracting the value or the fruits of our labor out of the thing that we have worked towards. Okay, so your hard work will be rewarded. You're doing the right things. Just other than maybe feel little nudges or shifts here from the advice from your spirit guides, okay? You're going to make it. It's going to be fine. It's just that if you do these other things of advice that I had mentioned so far, your spirit guides are pushing through as the message today, that will help you make it even smoother than it would have been had you not followed that advice, okay? I'm trying to see if there's any other messages today. Something about the love card. I'm going to draw just one more clarifier on that, because that is your pile leader, and we really haven't factored it in too much. Although, obviously, love is related to family, love is related to long-term friends, but spirit guides, anything else on that love card? Kind of a last parting message for pile 2 today. We have the Eight of Wands reversed. It means to go slow, or things happening slower than we want them to. Okay. Actually, I'm going to draw one more. And the Empress reversed. Okay, things not being nurtured where they're supposed to be, or being overly smothered. That's another interpretation of the Empress reversed. Let me look at these for just a moment, pile 2. Love, Eight of Wands reversed, and the Empress reversed. There's another message here about if you're trying to glean somebody's intentions or the truth of a situation, look to where people are too slow to offer love and too slow to offer support and nurturing. There's something here I feel like they're telling me, for at least some of you, if not all of you watching this, that if you're trying to glean their intentions, look how quickly or slowly they jump to help or offer acts of love and acts of nurturing and acts of care. Or even if not in the future tense, look at their actions in the past in those areas, and that will help you glean someone's true nature in this situation. Okay, the speed at which they give love, acts of love, etc., and things that nurture, as I said, with that Empress card reversed. It also might represent for some of you that it might be a mother that's actually involved too, because the Empress reversed can represent a mother figure that we don't necessarily have the best relationship with. So that might be for some of you where the family aspect comes in terms of that. So, Let's see. Any other messages today, spirit guides, for pile 2? I'm going to tap in here for any last intuitive message. 1 second. They're saying something about you holding a really heavy stone in your hands and needing to let it go. It's like a weight in your hands that you're holding on to too tightly, and they want you to let go of it, pile 2. They're like, why are you still carrying this stone? Why don't you just toss it to the side and keep walking? Why carry this heavy burden? Just let it go. And that was their final message for you today, my wonderful pile 2, to let go of the heavy stone that you don't have to carry anymore. Okay. Beautiful. So that was your message today about, well, what you were guided to hear today from your spirit guides. As always, you know, the YouTube spiel, please like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal. If the reading helped you, if it resonated, if you liked it, etc. Every little bit of interaction helps with the algorithm, helps grow the channel, helps keep the dream alive of empowering people and providing clarity and spiritual healing, etc. All those good things. So thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as we always say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one, pile 2. Bye. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about a message you were guided to hear at this time. And of course, as you recall, your pile leader you were drawn to was the card of Relaxation. So as we always do with pile leaders, let's set them over here next to the candle. And we're going to begin your reading today with a nice tarot spread. So calling on spirit guides collectively for pile 3 for their highest, best good. Please tell us a little bit more about what it is you want them to hear today. What do they need to know? What do they need most right now? Thank you. And I'm feeling drawn to this one. Okay, let's unveil your tarot spread. First up to bat, we have the 6 of Wands. Beautiful colors there, lots of orange. Second card today is the 10 of Swords. Third card to the heart of the matter is the Explorer, or in most decks it's known as the Knight of Wands. Then in the 4th position, we have the 8 of Swords reversed. Lots of swords and wands today, pile 3. Then in the last, we have the Chariot, 1 major arcana. Lots of swords, lots of wands. What that tells me, energetically speaking, the situation is probably most likely related to something that you've been thinking through a lot recently, and something that is probably related to a dream or ambition of yours. Because the 2 wands cards represent fire, that's about creativity, ambition, all those good things, etc. And, you know, your 2 swords cards are air, which is about logically thinking through things, communication, intelligence, all that good stuff related to the air element. So, I think pile 3. For most of you, the situation that spirit guides are referring to is where you've been wanting victory in some area of your life. You've been wanting success. I say that because the very first card, or I call it the inciting incident in my particular spread I like to use, is the 6 of Wands. And the 6 of Wands, my friends, represents, well, victory. Most simply, but things that are publicly lauded, things that are publicly recognized. I think maybe there's something you've been working on that you feel like it hasn't gotten the recognition it deserves, or you feel like, you know, you put all this effort and blood, sweat, tears, etc. into it, and it's like, it just feels like I'm not getting the reaction that I want. Maybe that's even why you were drawn to Relaxation as your pile leader, because you feel like it's getting a relaxed response, you know, a little bit like not enough for what you actually put into it. You're like, I should be getting more response than this. Come on, right? Or it could also be that you have been having a lot of anxiety lately over this. Hence, maybe you were drawn to Relaxation psychologically because you're seeking relaxation, right? You know, as we all are in our busy, stressful, everyday modern life. But you specifically, I think this has been weighing on you a lot lately. And 2, because of all the air cards, that can also indicate Well, specifically because you got, the Ten of Swords, which tends to be kind of a negative air card, and the Eight of Swords reversed is kind of a neutral sort of card. And when we have an abundance of negative to neutral air cards, that can mean that anxiety has been playing a factor in a situation, especially because, it's like our mind out of alignment, being too much air, right? So lots of anxiety. And I think another factor of this is that you feel like, there's two ways this can go. The Ten of Swords in the second position could mean that you feel like you've been betrayed in some way. Like maybe you feel like you were sabotaged in this thing, not getting the success that you wanted it to get or the recognition that you wanted to receive. Or it could also be, if it's not a betrayal or sabotage, the other interpretation of the Ten of Swords tends to be, I'm at the end of something. I've been defeated. I'm done. I feel like I can't go on with whatever this thing is. It's those types of sensations, especially too because you can't see it in this particular deck, but the original version of the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot is the Ten of Swords is like someone completely down on their front, 10 swords in their back, and they're like, I'm finished, okay? It's kind of like the one keyword I would use with the Ten of Swords upright is I've been finished. Or key phrase, I should say. I'll keep drawing your oracle cards as I speak. So that's the situation that your spirit guides are referring to that they want to talk to you about today. That's kind of the context of what's going on. I feel like, though, you're not done yet. Even if you feel like, oh, look at that. Literally, the cartographer comes out. We have the element of air. And then the keywords are the crossroads and exploration. More air energy. Turning some of that anxiety in a positive way towards curiosity rather than stress and worry. I feel like you aren't done yet, though. There's still more for you to explore in this area, pile 3. I think just because you haven't gotten the success that you wanted or the recognition that you desired doesn't mean that the thing that you made or put out there is bad. It's just that I think there just were like external factors outside of your control. Like I said, some of you it might be betrayal or sabotage because of the Ten of Swords, right? But it could also mean that it just didn't really hit the right audience. And that's why I think you're being asked to explore more with that cartographer card. I almost wonder if there's even a geographic factor in this. Like, it really depends on what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to do, but I feel like for some of you, it might be that, like, maybe it was released to the wrong market, like, geographically speaking. Like, I know, as I said, it really depends on what you're trying to achieve, each and every one of you, or what you're trying to put out there, but it might be a good idea, pile 3, to look into perhaps showing the thing that you're trying to do or where you're trying to gain success for yourself to a different audience or in a different environment is what I'm hearing with that card. Ooh, Radiant. Yes, shine out your light. I'm going to draw an extra clarifier on that card. I've been doing that with this deck today. Spirit guides, clarity on Radiant. I think I already kind of know what it means, but I think you might be giving up too soon, I guess is what I'm hearing for you. Speaking of, all right. I'm like, I think you're giving up too soon. And then the Nine of Wands reverse pops out. That's funny. You have a good sense of humor, spirit guides. All right. So the Nine of Wands literally, it means don't give up. Or it means we're getting to the point of feeling like we want to give up, but don't. Yeah, you're giving up too soon. And then that card pops out. And I'm like, well, okay, yeah, okay. I was on the right track there with that intuition. Yes. There's more of your light to be shown. There's more of you to give to the world that the world deserves to see. That if you were to give up now, it would be a loss for the world. Okay. Some of you, it might be, because of all the fire energy, it might be, even the freaking Nine of Wands is fire energy too, now that I think of it. Probably a creative project for a lot of you. Like art, music, writing, all that good stuff. And then we have be gentle with yourself. Also, and this is ad nauseum on my channel, I don't know why this is such a popular collective message. This comes up in my readings all the time. Don't be so hard on yourself. It happens all the time with these readings. I don't know if people that are drawn to my channel, we all just have a lot of perfectionistic tendencies and we all just kind of are really hard on ourselves. I'm like that too myself. So maybe that's kind of the energy that we're all kind of drawn together as a soul circle / family. But yeah, being too hard on yourself. Pile 3. If you think you suck, you don't. Okay? Like, very bluntly, that's what your spirit guides are telling you. They're like, why, just because of this setback or because of that reaction or feedback, why do you think you suck? Why do you think you're not good enough? Why? Okay, so of course, you might initially be like, well, if I didn't suck, well then how come I didn't get the audience that I wanted for this, or the acclaim that I wanted, or recognition, etc.? As I said, I think what they're telling you is it might have just not been to the right audience. That's where that cartographer card comes in, especially with the elements that it talks about with exploration. That's that key word with that card. You need to explore more avenues in which to display or try to get recognition for this thing or success, etc. And that's where this Knight of, or Explorer of Wands comes in as a central matter, heart of the matter card. That is the card of taking action with our passions and with confidence and charisma and with our ambitions, because it is a fire card. It's the Knight. They also take actions too. They're very active cards. It's a card of needing to do something or take action on something. There's still room for this thing to succeed. It is not the end. Okay, I know it feels like it. You got that 10 of Swords. You're like, oh man, I feel like everything is just a crapshoot and there's nothing else of value here for me to keep trying to pursue this. It's not true. Okay? Please keep taking action with this thing that you're ambitious and passionate about, okay? I mean, it even feels like when you look at this particular version of the Knight of Wands here with the little salamander who's like guarding his little wand. It's so cute. He's got his back to the fire. He's like defending himself. You have to defend the thing that you're trying to put out there, or the success that you're trying to achieve, okay? I know it's already been hard, and it's not like your spirit guides are saying, well, you haven't been doing enough. You have been. It's not that you haven't been doing enough. But there's still room for you to fight. It's not, the battle, technically you might have lost a battle, but the war hasn't been won yet. Speaking of, that's another energy of the Knight of Wands reversed is, well, I've been through a battle, I've been defeated, but that does not mean the war has been won. The conclusion and the result is not set in stone. And I'll tell you this, actually, pile 3, I think with that Chariot as your outcome, you're going to find forward momentum faster than you expect if you don't give up. That is why your spirit guides are reaching out to you today specifically. They're like, please, if anything, do not give up on this thing, because you have that energy coming forward, a forward momentum in this area that feels like it's been blocked. Let's see, do I want to talk about this card first or the end cards? Let's talk about the Radiant card. Yes, we already talked about the Knight of Wands as the clarifier. So yes, don't give up. And the reason why is because you have something special with this. There's something about the thing you're trying to bring about to fruition that and I don't know if you had an explicit spiritual purpose with it. Some of you it might have been like you were trying to do some spiritual thing, like, I don't know. For some reason I'm thinking like creating a tarot deck or like a spiritual related channel. It could be one potential interpretation, but even if it's not like an initial spiritual purpose that you poured into it, there's something about this project or thing or what you're trying to do that it does have a ripple effect of spiritual radiance because of it. I think that's part of why, well, they want to encourage you because they want to see you have success, right? Number one, they care about that. They're your spirit guides. But it's also because you have something of merit in this thing that will touch other people's souls in ways you don't expect. I mean, because, think about this, pile 3. Think about every piece of media out there or thing that other people created that touched your soul. Okay, think about your favorite book and the way it touched your soul. Think about your favorite song and the way it touched your soul. Okay, there's something about that quality of resonance in the thing that you're trying to put out there or find success with that will help find resonance in other souls. And that's why it's important for you not to give up, but also just because there's good things coming if you don't give up for yourself as well. But that's the spiritual interpretation too, is there's a spiritual purpose to this, that they want you to keep going. They want you to keep exploring. They want you to keep moving forward. I will say in the near future position, you do have the Eight of Swords. I'll kind of unveil it here. Reversed. Eight of Swords reversed. And what that means is that in the near future, very soon, something is going to be freed. The Eight of Swords is the element of I've been trapped and now the lock has been broken. The chains are freed. You're going to be released in some way, or this thing is going to be unchained in some way that will allow it to flourish if you pour in the effort of exploring a little bit more and maybe different audiences or etc. However this particular thing you're trying to do is received, right? You know better than me. But it will be unchained, it will be released, it will be let go of. It's like it will finally stand out from the crowd if you just keep going. Also, it can also be a piece of advice here for you to not let your mental worries about this thing trap the beauty and potential in it just because it didn't immediately take off like a rocket launch. Okay? Really, the Eight of Swords reverse sometimes can mean, as a piece of advice, if you let go of the way that you shackle whatever this is because of your own mind and its worries and its beliefs that, you know, oh, something's not good enough, or I'm not good enough, or things like that, etc., whatever self-limiting beliefs you might have with this, sometimes that's the reason why something fails. It's just because we believe we couldn't. But if we give it a chance to flourish, if we give it more time, if we let it simmer a bit, if we let it have more of a chance in front of more audiences, sometimes that's the only alchemy it needs, pile 3, to turn from disaster into, oh my god, this is actually doing really well. I'm so glad I kept going. Okay? Don't let your mind hold back your passion. Don't let the air element hold back your fire. All right? Turn the mind down a little bit, like a radio station. We're going to turn on the volume on that. We're going to let the mind kind of quiet it down. Let's do what the heart says. Let's do what our ambition and our soul says, okay? And then the very end, you have that Chariot card, as I said. The Chariot is all about forward momentum, things picking up speed, things being under your control. I think if you take this advice into account and do not give up, you will find the action and direction and movement that you're looking for with this particular project. Or, you know, some of you, it might not even be a project. It might just be yourself in general, trying to promote yourself in some way. Okay, keep going. Also, I already talked about it a little bit, but we will revisit it. Be gentle with yourself. You're too hard on yourself. You're too much of a perfectionist. And I say this as a perfectionist myself. Totally guilty as charged. And that's why I can speak from experience. Do not be afraid also to release things or to let go of things that you feel like your perfectionism might get or has been like holding back. Nothing ever released out there into the ether is perfect. Perfection is not the goal here, pile 3. Emotional and spiritual resonance and speaking from the depths of your soul is the goal, okay? It's not about, I need to create the most perfect, flawless thing. It's, I need to create something that will touch the hearts of others. Okay, that's kind of another shift I'm hearing that they're asking you maybe to kind of look towards. So take a deep breath, pile 3. Be gentle on yourself. Keep going. I know I said it ad nauseum, but I'm going to keep repeating it because they're telling me to. Explore. Take action with your passions. It's not over yet. Just because it didn't see victory immediately doesn't mean that the war is conclusive. One battle lost doesn't mean the whole thing is over. And even if you study history, there's been a lot of wars that were won because of the tides turning in just one battle, even when everything seemed really bleak before that point. Okay? So keep battling, keep fighting. You'll make it there, I promise. You'll find that forward momentum that you're looking for, and this thing will be freed. And then maybe you can relax a little bit more. You'll be like, I don't have to worry about that as much. Okay, it was fine. I was just worrying too much. I just needed to shift my audience a little bit, etc. Things like that. Share your gift with the world, okay? All right, so that was your message for today, my wonderful pile number 3. Your message you were guided to hear today. As I always say, I hope that it helped. I hope that it resonated. I hope that you liked it. And if so, you know the old YouTube drill. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Every little bit does help my channel grow. Helps me keep the dream alive of providing empowerment and spiritual growth and healing to others. So thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as I always say in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope to see you in the next reading, pile 3. Bye.